Biomechanics is the study of the movement of living bodies. Okay, so we're going to study here how horses are moving and what is the landing of a healthy foot. So a lot of professionals, especially a lot of horse people, will talk a lot about the horse and his hoof standing still and on a flat surface. That makes it easy, but that's not the reality of what horses go through. Horses are mostly, or should be, moving, and they're going to be in the real world, which means uneven surfaces and varied surfaces. So now we're going to move from photo to video. Okay, we're going to pick one foot, the left front right there, and we're going to study, we're going to observe it, slow motion, and here it's good because the quality of the video is not too bad. 5 phases. We're going to break it down to as simple as possible. 5 phases when a horse is moving. Number 1, approach. So you want to see the toe slightly up, so at phase 2, initial impact. The horse is landing on the back of the foot. Great. He's comfortable on the back of the foot. He's got a well-developed back of the foot. Phase 3, the whole hoof is on the ground. I call it full load or balancing phase, because that's when his bone comes kind of vertically above the hoof and the horse is going to balance one side or the other to prepare the next stride. Okay? Phase 3, the heels leave the ground, the toe is still there, the toe is basically rocking on its toe. It's the phase of breakover, and then the hoof leaves the ground. Phase 5, flight. Approach, initial impact, full load, breakover, flight. Approach, initial impact, full load, breakover, flight. So whenever you're observing a horse moving, think about these 5 phases. We're looking at the left one, huh? Flight. Right a split second before impact, we're looking at that front of the foot, that toe. Is it raised up? Sometimes it's easy to see, sometimes not. What is important is that if your horse is at a trot, ideally you want to see that toe up, like just a split second before it hits the ground. If the horse is going downhill, you look for that too. Now it's normal for a horse usually when it's walking to just be landing flat. And when a horse is going uphill, usually he's going to be landing on his toes. That's normal. But at a trot and downhill, we want to see this up so we know, amazing, we have a healthy sound horse. Did you see that? Just before it lands, we had it lifted slightly up. Then initial impact, that's when the greatest force is on the hoof, so that's the whole weight of the horse hitting the ground plus the kinetic energy when the horse is at speed. So that's the greatest force that the hoof is going to have to deal with. Therefore, shock absorption, we need the whole thing, heels, frog, glomes, digital cushion, all that to allow the horse to be comfortable. Approach, right there. the approach. Then you're gonna see the shock absorption properties of the foot that we talked about before, right there. The pastern bone comes all the way down. All that is part of shock absorption. And then the leg is coming vertically, full load, balancing if the horse needs to prepare the next stride. And then break over. So what's happening there is that the heels are leaving the ground and the horse is going to use his foot for propulsion. So that's an important force as well. But the greater force is impact, landing. Then propulsion, to push the horse forward, is going to be a lesser force. That's going to be important for what comes next. I'm just going to let this run. But why is it important that we have a well-developed back of the foot? And what happens if the horse doesn't have a well-developed, comfortable back of the foot?
It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts. If it hurts, what is the horse going to do then? Land on the toe. Exactly. So you see a lot of horses tiptoeing.
Yeah.
So they either land flat or on the toe. You can see the second before impact, you can see that the horse is actually not having his toe up. He's got his toe down and he's landing on it. This was meant for reception. Landing, initial impact, the greater force. This is meant for propulsion, so the lesser force. What happens if the horse is not comfortable there? He's going to land on the front of the foot. And then he's going to use this for both reception and propulsion. What's going to happen next? That sole is not designed for that. It's going to go thin. And then you have a horse with a thin pad right underneath his bone. He's going to be sensitive. Plus the wall on top of that is going to be flaring and breaking. The most important to remember then is that when you have a thin sole, a thin pad here is not thick enough, is not comfortable enough, the problem is probably coming from the back. So you need to develop the back of the foot, get the horse comfortable to land heel first or back of the foot first. And then over time, he's going to stop tiptoeing, he's going to stop using the front of his foot, and then hopefully over time, he's going to regrow a thicker sole. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the quality of the front pad, the sole, actually depends on the quality of the back pad, the frog. That's why the frog is the most important. And if we don't have a well-developed back of the foot, all sorts of negative consequences are going to be drawn from there. Okay, so it's the same thing at the canter, but at the canter you have the horse a little bit faster, so they're going to tend to land usually on the back of the foot. So usually the decisive thing to observe is the horse at a trot. And it's very clear on a hard surface, for example. I define soundness of a horse as a horse being comfortable at all gaits on all surfaces. And the horse might be landing a certain way, the horse might be shaping his hoofs in different ways. Every horse is unique, so every hoof is different. But a sound hoof, it's not gonna be how it looks like to me. It's, does it serve the horse? Does it allow the horse to land comfortably at all gaits and on all surfaces? Sometimes it is a little bit tricky to see the hoofs, especially if the horse is nervous. So at the beginning he's doing that trot, he's landing almost flat at the beginning of the footage, but it's hard to see because it's not very good quality and he's got all this hair covering his hoof. So you have the feeling that something's going up, but actually he's landing flat. At a canter, he's landing with the back of the foot first. So with this horse, I will already be like, okay, let's see if over time we can have him comfortable just trotting on the back of the foot. The other thing is that some horses have more gaits than others, so they can lift their foot up higher. But in the end, what you want to look for is still just catching that very, very fraction of a second before landing where the toe is up, and you know, okay, wow, the horse is actually landing where it's supposed to.